Two very prominent internet celebrities have had a brush with the law lately, and we're going to compare and contrast them in this very video. And I find it very interesting, the way that the law wants to go ahead and handle both of them, which kind of lets you know that it's not so much, and the way that you get deplatformed like Tate and similar ilk, it's not so much how much influence you have, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of influence, and while Tate was the most Googled man, I'm not too sure for the entirety of 2022, but at least for a long period of time, especially in the summer towards the end of the year, was the most Googled man on earth, and arguably, he was at least in the top 5 most influential people of 2022. Can we settle on that? I think that'll be about good. And then, of course, you're going to have the guy who's in the second half of this video, Kai Cenat, who, I'll be completely honest, haven't watched a minute of his content. All I know is that at one point in time, I think that was also last year as well, to make reference of, he was the most subscribed to, or he had the most concurrent subs on Twitch, some landmark like that. He ended up getting a big deal, him and iShow Speed. These are probably a bunch of names that you haven't heard from, but they're very popular people on the internet, and the way that they get handled, well, it's very interesting because they both have the equal-sized platforms. Tate probably a little bit larger, but Tate has also been banned from a bunch of different places. I find it very, very, very interesting the way that the media wants to cover both sides of this, because Tate, oh, he's dangerous, and oh, he's gonna end up inciting violence with his rhetoric. Meanwhile, Kai Cenat, yeah. But let's dispense with the good news first and foremost. The Tates are off house arrest, and there are so many, specifically blue-haired cucks that are out there probably punching air right now because, oh man, any day now, I've got inside information, the Tates are going to be going away for a long time. Yeah, that's just not going to materialize. I've looked at the information. I've personally, and I've shared it with you guys, have had inside sources reach out to me to tell you that these allegations from these chicks is total fucking cap. There's no substance to it at all whatsoever. It was just some simple bitches ended up on the wrong side of what they thought they could have got from the Tates, cried some crocodile tears, and got a whole bunch of beta chump prosecutors to draw up a whole bunch of charges that don't really seem to be panning out. Sure, like the old saying goes, you can indict a ham sandwich. You can go ahead and charge anybody with just about anything. But when it comes to presenting evidence that would substantiate your case, doesn't really seem like the Romanian authorities are coming up with anything substantive. Because, okay, why would they be held in jail for 4 months? I think it was about 4 months they ended up spending inside the clink. 4 sounds about right. And then they got let out on house arrest. And then after a couple months' time, now they're no longer under house arrest, but they're still going to be going to trial. It's very interesting how we have this development this time around. Okay, they've been charged. There's a document that's out there. You got a charging document, and oh, it looks bad. Well, of course it's going to look bad. Of course the indictment docket is going to read in the best light for the prosecution. They're the motherfuckers who wrote it up. So of course they're going to be presenting their best case possible in that written document. But for the Tate side of this stuff and how it always works, there's this nasty little thing called exculpatory evidence, and the other side gets to provide all of the discovery that during their house arrest and during their imprisonment inside the Romanian jail cells, well, they weren't allowed to produce to the court. That's a funny little kink for the Romanian government, but also what tends to come out after the indictments are laid. So once we go forward with the Trump side of the things, well, we're going to find some very funny stuff, but that's another topic for another time. Romanian court releases influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan, okay, and the girls, Georgiana and Luana. Everybody's off house arrest now, pending trial. Yeah, exactly. It'll eventually go to trial. And don't worry, guys, Tates will be going away a long time. Sources say, inside story, blah, blah, blah. Bucharest court ruled on Friday to release internet personality Andrew Tate. No, he's a trafficker. He had cab sites. And he shut down 5 years ago. Oh no, they tweeted about having girls under management. Yeah, and now thanks to Fresh and Fit posting, I think, all of their interviews that they had with both the Tate brothers. The best one, in my opinion, was when a couple of hoes ended up getting kicked off early. Tristan came onto the panel. Andrew was the guest for the after-hour show. Tristan came on, and then he also elucidated the cam girl situation, and then also, pointed out something very important, that, yeah, he was still managing some chicks, just a few chicks, in much smaller operation, managing their OnlyFans. It's like, okay, cool. Is that illegal? No, of course not. But yeah, they're trying to use that as a big gotcha. Ooh, congratulations. It was something that he talked about 2 fucking years ago. Good stuff. But any day now, guys. Any day now. The walls are closing in. Where have we heard that stuff before? Matrix man bad, Orange man bad, right? We've been completely innocent since the beginning of this, and I have to give absolute faith to the Romanian judicial system for finally making the right decision of letting us free. Tate told reporters gathered outside the house on the outskirts of Bucharest, "I'm sure, in the end, will absolutely be exonerated." Tate was indicted in June along with his brother Tristan and 2 Romanian female suspects for human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women, which, yeah, that's either because we don't actually know what this is. Everybody was just alleging, oh, see, there's old clips on the internet about Andrew talking very hyperbolically about so many different things. See, it's clearly him still snitching. It would be like indicting Richard Pryor if he was still alive for arson because he made a joke about setting himself on fire when he was smoking crack. Holy shit. Allegations they have denied. Yeah, it really looks like the prosecution hasn't really come up with that much evidence to substantiate their cases. Under Romanian law, which are more like guidelines, really, the case is now in the Bucharest court's preliminary chamber, where a judge has 60 days to inspect the case files to ensure legality. And trial will not start until that process is completed. Now, when did that clock start running? Because if it's 60 days, I believe this news came down yesterday. Oh, okay, cool. They do clear that up right there. The Bucharest Court of Appeals on Friday, in a written ruling, says it replaces the house arrest measure with a judicial control for a period of 60 days from August 4th until October 2nd. Okay, so October 2nd is the official shit or get off the pop date, because they've already exhausted their 180-day detention period that started the 29th of December. Yesterday marks the first day in 2023 that the Tates, for all intents and purposes, for as much as they can be, have been free men. So for the better part of the year, the Tates have been property of the Romanian government. For what? For making some chicks upset. May or may not have sold them a dream. May have fucked them into a stupor thinking that they were going to somehow end up Ms. Tate one day. Yeah, it didn't really end up working out like that. But these are all allegations, nefarious lies that are bandied about that resulted in 4 people getting snatched up for over half of 2023. When you compare and contrast that with something that had real-world implications, you have Kai Cenat. And believe me, like I said, I haven't watched this guy or anything like that. I barely know the cursory amount of information in order to just present this. Another streamer that's out there. I am not saying that I want him snatched up and to be thrown in jail. Of course not. There's enough of them already in jail. No, I'm just saying, you have popular people that are out there, and the way that they're treated, it's not all about clout. It's not all about societal relevance. It's about what you're talking about. And if you're out just simply handing out escapist sedatives, well, you're treated completely different. YouTuber Kai Cenat is charged. He's not even a YouTuber. Okay, I guess that's a colloquial term for it, but internet personality would be a little bit more of an appropriate descriptor for Kai, but he's more of a Twitch and sort of part-time Rumble guy. But YouTube, I don't know, does he post VODs up there or something? Like I don't even know. Charged with inciting a riot by NYPD. Inciting a riot. He actually incited a riot. This one was violent, and nobody hung around afterwards in order to clean up. Like another riot that was incited by somebody's speech, for a PS5 giveaway. PS5s, gift cards, I don't know, were there some fucking V-Bucks being thrown? I don't fucking know, but there was more than just a couple of PS5s. But you do that, you announce that you're going to be doing a giveaway in Union Square in New York City on fucking Friday. I don't know if it's a long weekend for my friends down south, nor would it really matter because most of these kids are off school anyways, and they're all school-age children for the most part because there were 65 people snatched up. 30 of them were underage, and you could tell by a bunch of the pictures that were there, the people that were committing the violence, actual violence. A police officer was stabbed after all. How is he being treated after this? A riot broke out at Union Square on Friday, sparked by YouTuber Kai Cenat. He's only 21. But he's done exceedingly well for himself. Like, I don't know how he started, don't know what he does necessarily. I'd imagine it's probably just React content like the rest of the fucking Twitch streamers that are out there. Kai Cenat is in police custody. Well, not anymore. He's been released because New York City, after all. Which is so fucking hilarious, okay? Like I said, I don't want him to be fucking snatched up or anything like that, but if he did commit a crime, and it sure as fuck seems like that with all of the evidence that's out there right now, wouldn't you think if we were doing apples to apples comparison, somebody would be snatched up for a little bit longer than that because there was actual destruction, there was an actual fucking riot, and people legitimately got hurt. NYPD arrested around 65 people, 30 of whom were juveniles during the Friday afternoon chaos in Manhattan. I wonder how many out of those people, the 65 people and the 30 juveniles, how many of them are still in detention? I'm just wondering, man, because inciting a riot, that's a fairly fucking serious claim. Police said that the influencer will be charged with multiple criminal offenses, including at least 2 counts of inciting a riot and unlawful assembly. Shocking photos and videos saw thousands of people gathered. Yeah, we got some pictures in this one. Unfortunately, I can't play any video because YouTube is the big gay when it comes to showing actual news footage. I made the mistake one time of showing some delinquent getting violent inside of a McDonald's that ended up getting the channel struck, so I'm not going to go ahead and press it again, even though it's just property getting beat up. But again, it was a guy who was wielding a fucking hatchet inside of a McDonald's, broke a table, but that was violence. YouTube's so fucking dumb sometimes. At least 12 people were injured, police told Daily Mail. Multiple NYPD officers were on the scene trying to disperse the crowds as of 5 p.m. New York PD has warned of mass transit disruptions and traffic delays. They estimated about 2,000 people showed up. I would say probably a little bit more, especially by some of those eyewitness accounts of it. And like I said, there's pictures that's down there. And it put up for the giveaway, and Mayor Eric Adams condemned the violence, warning his own son to stay clear. Jesus. Cenat, who is one of the most popular streamers on Twitch and has 5.5 million followers on Instagram, has announced the giveaway of his on the platform with fellow streamer Fenum. Yo, man, I feel like the oldest man alive. I have no idea what, a Fenum is, but all right then. Scheduled for 4 p.m. Yeah, and as you can see, that was one of the photos of him getting drug away after the fact by the New York Police Department. And it's like, okay, you gotta go right now. You're kind of causing a scene here, my guy. Yeah, there's a lot of people were down there with their phones, taking account of what was going on. And as you can see, well, does anybody else notice a pattern, or is it just me? No, just all Kai Cenat enthusiasts, right? Oh yeah, and there you go. There's another one that was down there. Yeah, no, nothing terrible that's going on, but yeah, that's the dispersed crowd. Can you even get like a full screen picture of that? Yeah, that looks a little bit better. But as you can see, there's a lot of people on one side that's over here, and then over on the other side as well that are not captured by that video. So, to say 2,000 people were gathered, yeah, that's a bit of an understatement, but at least it gives you a good insight as to what we're dealing with. But as you can see here, yeah, YouTuber Kai Cenat faces 3 years in jail. 3 years for inciting a riot that caused untold amounts of damage. But 3 years? 3 years, huh? All right, then. Shortly before the riot erupted, Cenat posted an image saying, "On the way." Yeah, the proper way to do this is to have a cordoned off area, an event space or something like that. So even if the people do get rowdy, well, you're not going to be charged with inciting a riot because you had a specific place. But no, obviously not. You had all those youths together that if this was Tate, this would still be headline news. And I thought all of his dangerous rhetoric was supposed to lead to this stuff. Oh, he's infiltrating the minds of the youth, the same demographic. Age range, it's probably still in the exact same crossover at some point in time. I'm sure that Kai's probably reacted to some Tate content because God knows everybody has at this point in time. But it's just funny. It's just funny the kid gloves one side gets. City official notification system has said to avoid the area and the trains are not stopping at the busy Union Street station. Well, they already weren't doing that anyways because of all of the goofy-ass asylum seekers or refugees that are flooding the streets or the human shit that's in the subway system. New York's not a great place anymore. Several people have been arrested, the initial estimates clocking at about 40 people so far, and numerous people could be seen in hand restraints sitting on the sidewalk. Police were forming lines in the street, trying to direct the crowd, which periodically broke out in a run. Yes, of course. NYPD echoed the statement, tweeting, due to police activity, avoid the area surrounding Union Park Square and use alternative routes. Expect a police presence in the area and residual traffic delays. It's funny, they're not blaming toxic masculinity or any of your conventional terms on this one because, yeah, not really seeing a bunch of diversity. Well, you are, but you aren't. You know what I mean, coded language and all that shit. But, it's kind of weird. Kind of weird, just noticing some stuff here. Yeah, I'm sure that this will probably be a part of the court case. This is apparently the banner that they were using. Okay, be there, using the strike by Lil Yachty. Again, feel very old on this one, but okay, yeah. So you got an Instagram story right there. You got an armored truck, police line, all that stuff. Okay, I'm gonna be giving away all this shit. Like, they'll say that, oh yeah, you were expecting violence because of your post. It's like, it's a look that they're going for, okay, hard up, but at the end of the day, who's bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining when they were getting drug away in cuffs? So yeah, man, somebody whose actions ended up in a riot, something that was designated a riot with actual photos of actual property damage, and what did they end up getting? Well, short detention period, and then they get, turned out and processed, and we'll come back to you, and we'll definitely not drop those charges, and you won't have to, plead to something that'll just end up resulting in you just giving a half-hearted statement, maybe a bit of community service or something like that, as opposed to somebody being worked through the system, who's also pointing out that the young men that would turn up to this are just simply lacking direction in life. I would imagine many of them came from a single parent household because, yeah, you're turning out in order to get free stuff. Again, it all just kind of correlates. But somebody who said, oh yes, all of your rhetoric would lead to this type of action. But when in actuality it does happen from somebody else, how they get treated. I just find it funny, man. Just a humble news aggregator out here, just simply noticing patterns. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.